and say that African engineers must be together for all problems in Africa. Our mission is to find solution for our problem in Africa. We don't have to tell somebody, come and give me solution. No. We must have our solution because we know our problem. That's a fundamental message for all engineers in Africa. So I want to say that your convention is very, very good organized, and it's an example for all African institutions of engineers. So, and also I want to say, you have to go now for mobility in Africa, engineers, mobilities. It's important. Every engineer must require to go to every country in Africa and know there what happened there. Now it's difficult because of financial requirement, but I think that we can do. So I want to thank all persons here, all engineers, all delegates, and say that next year we have the UNESCO conference in Tanzania. Tanzania is near your country. I think you will be there for this conference. This conference is under the FAO organization. Thank you very much and success for your work. Thank you.
Once again, let's put our hands together. Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to now take this opportunity to welcome the President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, and this is none other than Engineer Shama Kiteme. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honsek, Jack Mwembe, Your Excellency, Governor Issa Timami, we're very honored this afternoon actually, that you chose to be with us out of your very busy schedule. We know you really squeezed to be here, and we are very honored. But before I make my comments and then invite you to close this convention officially, we had invited His Excellency Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir to the opening ceremony, which was graced by Head of Public Service. But I understand that there was some hot business going on in Magarini. And so I want to invite his CEC, Daniel Manyala, to come and greet us.
Thank you, Mr. President, Your Excellency Governor Issa Timami, County Government of Lamu, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Like Mr. President has said, the governor of Mombasa would have loved to be with you on Monday. He's always graced the conventions that have happened before. And he sent me to just say that you remain in his heart, you remain in the heart of the people of Mombasa and his government, and that whatever call he had in Magarini was equally important, and he had to make sure that that is delivered. We thank you for your understanding. I want to also say that as County Government of Mombasa, we have remained steadfast in our partnership with the two organizations, IEK and EBK, and we will remain so. And I just want to mention that we've seen tremendous change and tremendous change and also development of our young officers, especially in the engineering profession, since we started working with you closely. Just this year, Your Excellency, the County Government of Mombasa got 4 officers accredited to be engineers. And this is a milestone because we know that accreditation is usually not a walk in the park. We want to promise as a government that we will continue to partner with you and that you should always look down the coastal counties, because this is where the gateway to the country and the region is. We are expecting, and we are also seeing expansion of mega projects within this region, and we cannot underscore or look down upon the contribution of your fraternity. We want to say that you continue to work with us and that you knock on our doors anytime for partnership. Your Excellency, one thing I've noted with concern, I must say, Mr. President, that in the list of partners that was displayed here, there is no Council of Governors. And that is not something that is good. We want to encourage you, Mr. President, to knock on our governors' doors and be able to bring them on board. The county governments are part of our system. As we say, Kenya has 48 governments, 47 in the counties and 1 in the national government. You cannot have all the road agencies listed here as your partners and county governments are missing. On a light note, Your Excellency, today is Friday, and I do not want to be a delay or that stands between us and the Almighty. With those, not so many remarks, allow me to thank you for always considering Mombasa for this convention, and we look forward to having you again next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please pass our regards to His Excellency, the Governor. He delivered very important remarks in the last convention on behalf of Baba, the late, and so we know he's very close to us. Your Excellency, we have presidents of various institutions present in this convention, and I already alluded to you the countries present here, and I want to appreciate all of them for being with us. We have chairmen of various state corporations, and I don't know whether Honorable Yusuf Shanzu is around. We have Engineer Basanda Mahabub Mohammed, and we have had several chairmen of various state parastatals joining us. We do have, like I said, various countries represented here, and I'll request them just to stand up, Your Excellency, so that you know they are here. Representation from Ghana, please, just stand up. There is representation from Mozambique. I'm told it is Mokabik. Alberto Tsamba, please. Representation from Nigeria, please. Representation from Equatorial Guinea. A representation from Uganda. Shizia. The representation from Russia. We have seen the team, please. Representation from Rwanda, they left yesterday night. Zimbabwe, Engineer Martin Manua. Surround Burkina Faso, just left here, Your Excellency. Tanzania has been with us also. Somalia is still with us. South Africa, we have representation from South Africa. We have United Kingdom, Professor Tao, where are you? And we have still United States represented in our midst. I want to also acknowledge all invited guests who make this convention what it is. This convention is primarily targeting IEK members, but it is an international convention, and therefore when we have their presence with us, we are very privileged. Allow me, therefore, Your Excellency, to let you appreciate the council members of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, and these are the people who plan this convention. I'm only chairing the meetings. They are the ones who plan. Please stand up. Your Excellency, we have Engineer Harrison Keter, who is our first Vice President. He's a mechanical engineer. We have Engineer Jackton Mwembe, who is a civil engineer. And we have Engineer Jennifer Gashe, who is a mechanical engineer. Engineer Flora Kamanja, who is a mechanical engineer. We have Engineer Christine Nadongo Gut, who is a civil engineer and the second Vice President. We have Engineer Eric Ohaga Wino, who is an electrical engineer and immediate past president. If he had refused to cede power, I would not be the president today. We have Engineer Brian Mweke, who is a chemical engineer. We have Engineer Changole Collins, who is a mechanical engineer. We have Engineer Dr. Damaris Oyaro, who is a civil engineer. We have Engineer Jennifer Korir, who is a Honda treasurer and a civil engineer. We have Engineer Professor Chris Minor, who is an electrical engineer and a council member. We have Engineer Patrick Otieno Tuoma, an electrical engineer and a council member, chair of our North Rift branch. We have Engineer Lillian Kilatia, a civil engineer and a council member. We have Engineer Owen Munene, an electrical engineer and the chair of Nyanza branch. We have Engineer Otieno Arowo, who actually works with Bamburi, Your Excellency, but also is chair of the Coast branch. And we have Engineer John Nyaguti, who is a council member and an agricultural engineer. And Engineer Hannah Njeri, a civil engineer and the chairperson of Central Branch. Those are members of the council, Your Excellency. And I also want to introduce to you members who are eminent engineers, people who have stood before me as presidents or chairman of the institution, and I'll request them to stand up. We do have Engineer Ruben Kosgei, a mechanical engineer, Engineer Njora Daniel, civil engineer, Engineer Francis Ngokonyo, an electrical engineer. We have Engineer Rosemary Kungu, a civil engineer in transportation, Engineer Nathaniel Matalanga, a civil engineer in structural space. Thank you very much. Please sit. Your Excellency, we have 48 governments, like alluded here, by the CEC. The Institution of Engineers of Kenya has worked very close with the national government, and this convention, Your Excellency, was opened by the head of public service. And just before you was the secretary to the cabinet, Mercy Wanjau. Your Excellency, we have also worked very closly with governors and county governments, and I already told you that we have prepared a site inspection handbook together with Council of Governors, National Construction Authority. And I'll be giving you a copy of that handbook, Your Excellency, as evidence of our partnership with counties. Again, we were very present in the devolution conference in Homa Bay, and we had actually a side event, the only professional association to have a side event in that devolution conference. And therefore, the CEC should not feel threatened that this big thing has omitted counties. But as we look to the guests to close this session, we realized your passion for development, and you have already confirmed to us this by saying you are the first county to develop a special plan. A special plan means you will not develop Lamu County, Shagalabagala. You will develop Lamu County in an orderly manner. And we thank you most sincerely because as professionals, we have been saying this needs to be done. Your Excellency, your efforts are leading Lamu to be exceptional in maritime trade and its diversification. Lamu's infrastructure capacity growth, we have witnessed it, and this is proving functional and globally competitive. The tourism potential of Lamu is becoming real and complementing cargo. Lamu upset this national excellence that us do yes the well this convention has been a platform for national discourse. Under the theme Engineering the Future, the Roadmap for Kenya, we have had very robust conversations, including panel discussions, keynote speeches, and exhibitions. Not only did we have the head of public service challenges on Wednesday, we finished that day having the controller of budget and the auditor general telling us on the other side of things where as engineers we need to improve. But yesterday, Your Excellency, we had the CS Treasury who literally lit this space, telling us how he is going to raise 5 trillion to implement the ambitious program that His Excellency the President has. And I forgot to congratulate you because the party where you are deputy party leader has done very well in the by-elections yesterday. Congratulations. But these engagements, Your Excellency, have been very enlightening. Delegates were actually glued all through and engaging questions, confirmed the depth of attention they had and the focus they listened with during the sessions. Your Excellency, we were chasing away people from this room when we were realizing it's at 6 p.m. because we were not willing to go away because the sessions were very informative. In the end, we have come up with the resolutions that will help define the future of this country. We will actually have a task force on engineering the future, and it will have both industry and academia representation. And we now agree that we must take our destiny in our hands. Technological, knowledge, and resources sovereignty is something we must achieve if we are to make progress. We appreciate that no one will come from outside to solve our problems, and we must solve them ourselves. We also appreciate that the time for talk is over. We must get to action and address the issues we face. We agree, Your Excellency, to support the President of the Republic, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to transform this country through the 4-point agenda that he articulated during his State of Union address. And these areas are investment in people, transition of our economy to be net exporter from the current net importer, the energy revolution increasing our capacity to 10,000 megawatts
from the current 3,200 megawatts generation capacity. And lastly, the investment in transport and logistics. Your Excellency, this is a business of engineers. And when you talk to His Excellency the President, because I know you talk to him as a deputy party leader, tell him that this gathering is very ready to implement this program. This 4-point vision, therefore, by His Excellency has a full support of engineers, and we commit to play our role effectively. I'll just highlight a few things and then invite you, Your Excellency. Number one, when you talk to His Excellency the President this evening as you report this function, and as you celebrate the win that the UDA has realized, please tell him that he needs to establish an office of infrastructure advisor. He has an advisor on constitutional matters. He has an advisor on women affairs. He has an advisor on economic affairs, but he has no advisor on infrastructure delivery. That person needs to be an engineer, and that person is going to help him deliver on his ambitious development program. Please also brief him that the infrastructure projects we are seeing in this country, and today we are having the launch of Rironi to Mau Summit Road, needs to be spearheaded by Kenyan engineers. Ethiopia delivered the biggest dam, Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, and it was spearheaded by Ethiopian engineers. Down south, the late Magufuli made sure that the infrastructure projects he was carrying out, they were done by Tanzanian engineers. We can do this in this country. And it is very sad when we see infrastructure being carried out and it is not being spearheaded by qualified, experienced Kenyan engineers. Please tell him we are ready to do this. And it doesn't have to be Chinese all the time or guys from other countries. This leads me to that point, Your Excellency. Because of this, we have over 50% unemployment of engineers in this country. And the ambitious program that His Excellency is rolling out, if we do it the way he said it, we are going to need engineers from outside this country. Because we are only a paltry 20,000 engineers in this country, 50% of them unemployed. This ambitious development program that he stipulated can absorb all of them. The other thing, Your Excellency, has been the pending bills. I know your county is doing well, but the national government and other counties, they have not paid us after we are consulted for them. And I'm a victim, having done job 2 billion worth, and I have to chase for the payment forever. I'll not mention from which organization. But when you retreat in IBEC forums, Your Excellency, please let them know the pending bills matter is a big headache to those of us in the industry. The last one, Your Excellency, we have seen you have employed engineers, and I have seen them. Encourage other county governors to employ engineers to head directorates for water, energy, buildings, and infrastructure. Because when you have CECs and CEOs and directors to head these organizations who are not engineers, then you are not getting the right technical advice. So please consider that and encourage your governors, because I know you're a ranking member in Council of Governors. Lastly, we have been challenged this morning by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Mercy Wanjau, that we must reform our engineering education. And I want to say we're working together with partners across the board to reform that. We are playing a critical role in curriculum design as IEK to make sure that the products of our universities can fit well in the market. We must make sure that we train our engineers to the best global standards. We must build synergy between the academy and the industry, because we have the bridge to that. We must also embrace self-regulation of engineering. While we appreciate that the state regulation of training, accreditation, and certification is necessary, there is an appalling failure in regulation of our practice, and we must enjoy and embrace self-regulation so that we can achieve effectiveness that we are
missing. With those many remarks, Your Excellency, I want to say we are very honored that you join us this morning, and because in the next few minutes you should be in the mosque, I want to invite you to come address this gathering, and then you close out that second IEK International Convention officially. I request all of us to stand up as we invite His Excellency.
Please, let's sit. Thank you. Good afternoon. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, sorry. Before I make my remarks, I just want to respond to the issues you have raised. First, let me congratulate IEK for a very well organized and successful international convention. You read the list of delegates from the various countries. This was really an international convention. On the issues you have raised, let me assure you, you're preaching to the converted. Pending bills. My pending bills are less than 30 million, and some of them are not payable because some of the projects are non-existent. But this is something that we have discussed in various forums, including with the President. And actually, the control of budget has been directed. I don't know whether she mentioned that there is a fast charge on pending bills before we can do other projects. So it's something, but I will, next month, we are having the summit meeting, and I will be sure to raise it again at that forum. On using our engineers on projects being undertaken in Kenya. Personally, I feel it is very wrong not to use our homegrown talent. It is a mistake, but in Kenya, I said you have to make your voices heard. And that's when things will change. But if you keep hoping for the best, then nothing will change. So it's up to you, and some of us will support you in that endeavor. My formal remarks. The President of the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, council members, and I must say I'm very delighted to see a lot of talented women engineers. You are, by profession, I'm an advocate, so you're one of the few bodies that comply with the constitutional requirement on the gender representation. So keep it up. Distinguished engineers from Kenya and across the globe, industry leaders, policy makers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, and not forgetting the Honorable CECM for Roads, Mombasa County. It is a great honor to stand before you this afternoon. The Institution of Engineers of Kenya has over many years earned a special place in our national development story. The IEK Convention is one of the few spaces in Kenya where vision meets precision, where ideas are not just discussed, but dissected, modeled, and translated into frameworks that influence real work on the ground. To be invited to close this 32nd International Convention is a privilege I do not take for granted. I thank you sincerely for the honor. This year's theme, Engineering the Future, the roadmap for Kenya, could not have come at a better time. We are living in an era where our ambitions as a country are large, urgent, and interconnected as we want a modern, efficient transport network, a resilient and climate-proof infrastructure, reliable and clean energy systems, safe and organized urban spaces, strong digital foundation, the world is headed that way, and sustainable management of natural resources. These are not political aspirations. They are engineering assignments. It's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. Engineers hold the blueprint of Kenya's tomorrow, where a policymaker drafts a vision, an engineer gives it shape, weight, dimensions, and lifespan. Where leaders articulate goals, engineers provide the structural integrity to sustain them. You are the quiet force behind every milestone this nation celebrates. Allow me to reflect briefly from the perspective of my own county, Lamu. LAPSSET is arguably the most ambitious infrastructure project in East Africa. For Lamu, it represents more than construction. It represents a transformation in our economic identity. The port, the highways, the potential pipeline and railway, the resort cities, these are not isolated projects. They are components of a strategic vision to reposition Kenya as the commercial nerve center of the region. None of this is possible without engineering. From the dredging and marine works at the port, to the structural works of the berths, to the roads that cross previously inaccessible terrain. Our port activity is a turning point. This year alone, we saw Lamu record historic ship calls, growing container transshipment, and our first ever cruise ship docking, bringing hundreds of visitors. Each milestone is a reminder that Kenya's northern coastline is no longer a frontier. It is an emerging maritime hub, and with that growth comes jobs for our youth, business opportunities for SMEs, expanded fisheries and marine services, increased investor interest. So these are the benefits, some of the benefits of the LAPSSET project. Our blue economy, Lamu's marine resource gives us a unique strategic advantage. Under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the blue economy is identified as a growth engine, one that can drive food security, exports, and coastal livelihoods. We are investing as a county and as a country in modern fish landing sites, cold chain infrastructure, aquaculture initiatives, marine safety, and value addition projects. But we are also conscious that the blue economy cannot flourish without carefully managed ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, Lamu is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is home to mangroves, coral reefs, turtles, dolphins, and delicate marine habitats. It is a county where culture, nature, and development come together. Our responsibility, yours and mine, is to ensure that we build, we do not destroy the very ecosystems that sustain us. Sustainability is not an environmental slogan. It is a development principle. Infrastructure, dear engineers, must be climate resilient. Projects must undergo environmental impact assessments. Coastal engineering must respect natural flows and habits. It's the issue of rusting, which is very, very critical to take into account. Energy projects must shift us closer to renewable energy, and urban planning must prevent sprawl, pollution, and degradation. Mitigation is not a procedural step. It is a very keen commitment. Engineers must now embrace environmental intelligence, design that anticipate climate realities, integrate green technologies, and reduce ecological footprints. We owe this to our children and generations beyond them. I am particularly encouraged by the 4th Future Leaders Summit that took place alongside this convention. This is a bold and necessary investment by the institution. Our young engineers need more than coursework. They need mentorship, and I'm glad that the institution is at the forefront of providing mentorship. And they need meaningful engagement in real projects. In Lamu, we are deliberately working to increase opportunities for young people by supporting technical training, port operations training, ICT innovation hubs. As a county, I've already established 7 ICT hubs to train our young people on the digital space. And of course, capacity building programs tied to LabSet and the blue economy. We have already, in partnership with the LabSet Authority, trained over 700 youths on port-related activities. When we speak of Vision 2030, Agenda 2063, Nyota, or better, we must remember that these are long-term frameworks. They will succeed only if Kenya produces young professionals who can carry the nation into the next 30, 40, and 50 years. One of the greatest strengths of Kenya's development architecture is the synergy between national policy and county implementations. My colleague here spoke of the 48 governments, so that's very relevant. Counties are not junior partners. We are co-authors of Kenya's progress. As a county, we align our development priorities with Vision 2030's flagship infrastructure and economic pillars, better Let us focus on job creation and enterprise, the Nyota program targeting youth empowerment, and Agenda 2063, continental aspirations for strong, interconnected economies. But importantly, we adapt these visions to local realities. Lamu's context, maritime potential, cultural heritage, environmental sensitivity, and strategic location means our development model must be both ambitious and balanced. Incidentally, engineers, we just concluded the Lamu Cultural Festival, which I believe is the biggest cultural festival in East Africa. I take this opportunity to invite you to next year's cultural festival, which normally happens in the month of November. You know, my biggest terms of reference is to market my county. So please excuse me for taking advantage of we attracted over 20,000 visitors this year, and that gives a big boost to our economy. And please don't miss next year. It will be the last cultural festival that I shall be hosting as a governor of Lamu County. So itakuwa ni sherehe ya kukata na shoka. Mkuje. The convention reinforces that counties must continue collaborating closely with engineers, researchers, and industry to craft development pathways that are technically sound and socially responsible. As we close this convention, I want to speak to the heart of your profession. Engineering is a field of expertise, yes, but it is also a field of ethics. I think this is very important. Every bridge, every port, every building, every road reflects the integrity of the minds that designed it. Kenya's future depends on engineers who, one, refuse shortcuts, uphold standards, innovate thoughtfully, respect the environment, and build with future generations in mind. Engineers are the custodians of public safety. You are the guardians of infrastructure longevity. You are the unseen authors of national stability. Kenya will only be as strong as the quality of what you build. Mr. President, please make sure that we eradicate the quack engineers. It's very sad when we see buildings collapsing, and I'm sure those were not designed by professional engineers. So you have to really look into that. Ladies and gentlemen, this convention has sparked important conversations about innovation and sustainability, about the future of our urban space, about climate resilience, about national competitiveness. My hope is that the ideas shared here will not remain in conference folders. Let them live in the projects you design, the policies you influence, the young people you mentor, and the systems you improve. On behalf of the people of Lamu County, I thank you for your contributions to Kenya's development and express our readiness to continue working together nationally, regionally, and globally. It is now my distinct honor to officially declare the 32nd IEK International Convention closed. Thank you. God bless our engineers. God bless our country. Asanteni sana. And I hope when you are here in Mombasa, you took time to enjoy. And let it not just be a convention. And unfortunately in Lamu, I do not have a hall that I can accommodate so many of you. But Mr. President, if you have committee meetings, I will be honored to host you in Lamu. Thank you. Asanteni sana.